Hello, 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 folks. It's Seamus, it's Craig. We are your Whiskey Club Whiskey team, and we are joining you to celebrate 2025. And Craig, what better way than with Whiskey of the Year?
Absolutely. Good morning, everyone from Glasgow. I am here surrounded by whiskey at 10 past 8 in the morning, and I'm very, very excited to share the results later on. So, yeah, Seamus, it is, I don't know, that I've been told this is the day of the year at the Whiskey Club, and it definitely feels like that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And there's always a bit of competition, although I'll be honest, there have always been a few consistent winners, but it's pretty hot competition this year. We've got the votes in. We've allowed voting to go for a little longer to make sure we got everyone's take that we could. And there's been some cracking drams, hasn't there? I'm joining from down here in Tassie. I'm not in the usual Whiskey Club spot. I'm in a bit of a different bottle selection behind me, but I do have the winner in my glass, ready to cheers it. And I got to tell you, I can see why it won. It smells pretty terrific.
Yeah, I mean the lineup this year ridiculous. I'm actually keen to see what those that are watching have in their glasses tonight. See if anyone's still got their favourite, or if those bottles are gone. I get the feeling that there's quite a few bottle kills this year from the quality of the stuff we were putting out for Whiskey of the Month.
It is worth saying. I mean, it feels normal that we don't have enough whiskey, but this year's felt even worse. We just keep running out of this stuff. I mean, it's far be it from us to complain, but there is nothing worse than not having a bottle for someone. And yeah, it feels like there's been a lot of that. But I mean, the selection that we've got for all the members watching along, there's some special highlights. What I would say to everyone who is watching along, one, thank you for joining us. And two, even though voting is officially closed, we do want to hear your takes as well for what you loved. Because as much as this is a bit of a fun popularity of who loved what the most and everything like that, we also get to use it for a bit of insight. We get to find out what you actually loved, what you want to see more of, what Craig and I should be calling up distilleries saying worked, and maybe where we can do better next year. So please continue to sound off. We're always ears open. But Craig, I mean, you must have heard some hot takes over your time here at the Whisky Club for the last year. What have been some of the crazy member opinions that have made it to you?
I think for me, what's been so fascinating is the first of all, the variety of lineup. It's amazing to see so many non-Scotches in there. This is probably the first year where I haven't been in my little Scottish echo chamber. So, what you know, the a lot of love for the Irish whiskies. Always had a soft spot for Redbreast, but to see Dunville's for me, really for the first time properly, was a very pleasant surprise. The one for me that's been raising the most eyebrows across here for its quality was actually Westward. I've been shown Westward to distillers, bartenders, whiskey friends, and enthusiasts across here in Scotland. And every one of them sort of sees the bottle. They've heard a bit about what Miles and the team are doing, but they have that kind of skeptical look that Scottish people have when it's not Scotch. And then you pour a glass for them, and they taste it, and they're just like, "What is this?" The integration of spirit and oak in that whiskey was absolutely mind blowing. So I've got high hopes for the old Westward, and a lot of love for that across here. To shout out to Scotch, I think the tomatin earlier did exactly what it said in the tin, got people really excited. We do love what comes from that distillery, and I got to go there with you earlier this year. I say last year it was 2025. We got to go up and hang out with Scott and have a look at what those guys have kicking about. So yeah, I think across the board it was a stellar year. And then the last one I've got to shout out, obviously got to come down to Australia to have to do some work and have a bit of R&R, and that was when the Starward came out, and those port casks were ridiculous. They packed a punch.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. And maybe that's the theme of the year. It's been a real does what it says on the tin kind of a year. I mean, the tomatin rum cask, you better believe there was that rum cask influence. The Lark Tawny cask, you could really get that Seppeltsfield Tawny. The Redbreast PX, the way that spirit worked with the PX cask was incredible. And that really feels like we've really led with cask and had the distilleries meet with their spirit styles so nicely. And I mean, if we jump back 12 months now, we started on the Balvenie 12, which was a cracking bourbon cask, just first fill, that American oak influence singing through the whiskey. That almost felt like the perfect starting point to come all the way back round to seeing off Christmas with a big ripping Bushmills Christmas cask. Bushmills, who, and we will get into this, should be shouted out as a very frequent winner of Whiskey of the Year.
Yeah, the start of the year, that the fact that we got to pick single barrels of Balvenie and the fact that they were all first fill, that's just never been done before. So talk about starting the year off with a bang. You could say we did the same this year with that Glenmorangie, but let's go back to the past. But no, the Bushmills. It's really interesting. A lot of the meetings and the discussions I'm having across here with our friends and colleagues in Ireland, everyone is shouting out to those guys. And we do have to, I'm sure we will, but we've got to wax lyrical about the way that Dunvilles are using sherry casks as well. I managed to get myself a hold of a bottle of Dunvilles last week. I'm not going to say where I got it. I'm not going to say how much I paid for it. But it was one of the last of the cigar malt kicking about. So I do have one on my shelf. And yeah, I again can't believe how those guys are using sherry casks. It's just particularly talking to them about how they're using Palo Cortado and some of the biologically aged sherry casks. Those casks aren't really used much in the Scotch industry because they're quite scary beasts. They take a long time to come good, but when you see a Dunvilles finish and you see what they're doing, hats off to them. It's a classic. Yeah.
Absolutely, and it's a good one because this was back in March of 25. There's going to be a lot of members watching along that maybe don't know or didn't get this bottle because they joined afterwards. And for everyone watching along, it's good to just say, so these guys, Northern Irish single malts, making big, rich, chewy whiskies that they're bottling, but they're really, really adventurous, as Craig said, on that maturation side, so much so that the cigar malt that they created for us, wrong way, the cigar malt they created for us ended up having quite a lot of overage stock in it. So I think off the top of my head, it was quarter 18-year-old, quarter 14-year-old, and then half 13-year-old spirit. And it was all Pedro Jimenez and Palo Cortado casks. And it's that kind of real hands-on dedication to insane quality that just has them winning award after award after award. And Craig, I mean, we were lucky enough to raid some of those cask coffers that we didn't get to last time, and there's some extra little casks coming, isn't there?
Oh, there's one or two. There's one or two. I don't know. Are we allowed to say what they are, or you got them right there? I think as I spoke about there, Palo Cortado, the way that those guys use them, we've got one of them coming as a single cask. And a couple of Pedro Jimenez. And again, like those guys realized very quickly no one was really using Pedro Jimenez, before they were in Ireland, and they just embraced what that wine brings to the spirit. So yeah, we've kind of gone a bit crazy. And I think we bought 2 Pedro Jimenez casks for members to have a look at later this year. Unbelievable whiskies, as you'd expect. Unbelievable whiskies,
and the full spectrum. So I'm going to reveal slightly more than you, Craig, on the Pedro Jimenez cast. So I think it's heaps of fun. The 14-year-old cast that's coming, that was basically one of the standout components of the Whiskey of the Month. Obviously, it's been 12 months, so the whiskey's just aged up a little bit. And then the other cask is, I think, the oldest ever Pedro Jimenez cask, the second oldest.
Second oldest. I dug deep in the research of that one, and there was one that just ticked over to 25, a quarter century, which was, again, it wasn't, as a single cask, there wasn't much of it, but I think it was released for a private guy in Ireland. So to get access to their old second oldest stocks of Pedro Jimenez casks is crazy. And I think the thing I love about it, we talk about sherry, but these guys realized fairly quickly that sherry kind of needs someone to sort of bite onto, because their spirit's so light and fruity and Irish, as you would say. So they always give an initial maturation in bourbon, which gives almost like a vanilla honey base, and then they chuck the sherry on top. And the way that it plays over the years and years of finishing is ridiculous. So yeah, I'm very, very excited for that one to hit the shores and the delivery boxes.
I could not agree more. It's becoming an expensive time for, I think, all of us involved, including myself. There's I think a lot of fun to be had, and admittedly, I'm in my whiskey lab here. I might have to run around the room and grab some of these bottles as we say them. And if my camera falls off, I apologize, because in maybe the most hardcore whiskey geek thing possible, I don't have like my ring light and my fancy gig set up. Craig, I have my camera currently balanced on a 1993 single cask Glendronach, a 1992 single cask Glendronach, and our Kilchoman Madeira cask bottling, just jerry rigged very, very nicely. And I got to tell you, it's probably the most expensive camera stand I've ever used. So I'm going to run around, but let's start at 2020. What year is it? Let's start at 2024, the most recently announced whiskey of the year before tonight. I'm going to have to dig in the Irish section of the shelf behind me, because that was the Bushmills, folks. It was the Bushmills Double Muscatel. Please, members, sound off in the comments if you remember this whiskey. Oh.
Got a few. There's a few people at home actually. There's that are showing the love for Bushmills. Mick Redmond says he's got Bushmills and Glendronach on the go at the moment. I don't know how many people are still going to have that double muscatel kicking about. That is legendary. Across here, I'm still chatting to folk in the industry who want to get a bottle but don't want to pay the auction price.
They're not going to get cheaper. They're not going to get cheaper. I think they're still going for about 600 euros, 700 euros. Mental.
It's ridiculous.
It's funny. I think it seems to be unique to us when we work with Bushmills that we get these mad auction things. And I think it's because they seem to let us work really closely with Alex, their whiskey maker, in putting these things together in such an unreplicatable way. So for everyone who is watching along as well, obviously we have just done the Christmas cast with them, which is in contention for Whiskey of the Year. Alex unfortunately couldn't join us last week, but we are desperately trying to schedule that virtual tasting again to hop on. But that was 2024's Whiskey of the Year. I'm working off foggy memories on some of this, and I'm cheating on the other half. So give me a second to continue cheating. 2023. It's fitting that we're talking about my camera stand. Hold on, here we go. Here's the risk.
Wait a minute, Helen's just found 2 bottles. Is this the double muscatel, Helen? And Narelle said she joined a month too late for that one. Oh, that's maybe speak to Helen.
2023's was a Glendronach cask strength.
Oh, I remember that one.
That one. 11.
Yeah.
I mean, an incredible whiskey, and one that's close to both of our hearts, being massive GD fans, to say the least. But GD cask strength, I mean, you notice a bit of a trend here. You know, we don't mind a bit of sherry here at the Whiskey Club, but Glendronach, I mean, they just do it so well, don't they?
I mean, to go from that and then have our Glendronach whiskey the month last year being the 2013 Oloroso vintage. I mean, again, you talk sherry, you talk big meaty spirit. It's almost perfect whiskey, and the way that Rachel plays with those casks and puts those recipes together, the cask strengths were they were iconic. They were massive across here as well. Unusually, a cask strength whiskey that a lot of the whiskey bars had no issue ordering multiple bottles of, because people just loved it. You know, sometimes there's a bit of wariness for bartenders here that you're putting a 50-odd% alcohol whiskey on the bar and it's not going to shift. But if it had a Glendronach label and Rachel's name on it, it had no issue shifting about. I'm pretty sure they had 1 or 2 at the Ben Nevis just down the road from here. Yeah, there's none left. There's none left.
It's where I'm really excited because, we've done a lot of work with Glendronach over the years, and it's exciting in the year ahead. And some people may have already seen the announcement to be taking a lot of that sherry experience and what our members really love about sherry cask and turn it to another sherry distillery in the Tamdhu. I mean, I'm going to get up and get the bottle, but how exciting is that?
Tamdhu it's a hidden gem. The thing, my favorite fact about Tamdhu is, they have a railway station. That's pretty cool. But they're one of those places that they're not open to the public. It's a whiskey I have lots and lots of experience with because when I was blending Famous Grouse, we used quite a lot of Tamdhu. We got to see tankers of new make. We got to see lots of it at 3, 4, 5 years old for the blend, and then had access to older stocks as well. And it kind of fits a little bit. I'd be confident to say that if you love that last Bushmills, then you'll like this style because it's fruity as a spirit, and then the sherry just adds dried fruits to the fresh fruits, and you get this lovely kind of interplay between the cask and the spirit. So I think what they've done in terms of rebranding that product, only laying down sherry casks for their single malts these days. So I've seen people mention in forums that there are non-sherry Tamdhus out there. When Tamdhu are selling spirit, it's generally sold to other people and they put it in their own casks. Those other people put it in their own casks. When Tamdhu are laying spirit down for single malt these days, it's only going into sherry casks. And it's from, the famous Coopers and the famous bodegas down in Spain. So you're getting your European oak from the north of Spain. You're getting your American oak obviously shipped in from the States and crafted into these incredible casks. But then seasoned for a couple of years with Oloroso style sherry. And then John and the team and Sandy at the distillery get to put these whiskies together. And I mean, a 14-year-old that's created just for us, mix of American European oak. It's very, very difficult to beat that. So yeah, I think if you're a fan of any of the sherry stuff we got last year, this next whiskey of the month is hopefully will open a few eyes. And for those that have had Tamdhu before, you already know what to expect. I don't know. I can see a few double ups on the horizon, Seamus.
Mate, you've got one here. I'm very glad you started talking because it meant I could go and open the bottle and drink some. It's absolutely delicious.
This is the first bottle that I gave to someone across here to do photography for us, and it's the one I had to go and chat their door to get back. It was the only one I had, so I had to go and get it back. Otherwise, we'd been happy to let the cameraman keep it. But it's phenomenal.
All right, 2022. This is not surprisingly where we see more of one of the iconic distilleries. We're back at Bushmills with the Burgundy cask. 9.5-year finish, Bourbon Oloroso initial maturation, long finish in those Burgundy casks. I haven't opened that in about 6 months. Still smells pretty good. Very upset to have all these bottles open based on the secondary value. But another perler from the way back, and that was our second or third collaboration with the Bushmills folks. I think third, and it just hit the same bar that they continue to. And Craig, I mean, we both know what's coming up on the horizon, but for everyone watching along, please throw up questions, throw up suggestions, because we're working on whiskies for 2028. We're working on whiskies for 2029, but whiskey takes a long time to make, so we can certainly start considering more suggestions coming up, can't we?
100%. I think that feedback from the members, those that are tuned into these live shows, and also just coming through our comments and through the other ways to get in touch with us, it's really helpful for us to then direct our efforts. If I think about this last week, we got to go and spend some time with members, or I got to go and spend some time with members up at Glenfarclas, which was an absolute joy. The number of people that are asking for a little bit more smoky stuff coming. Always happy to take a wee trip to some of the peated distilleries. And then in terms of sherry, it's really interesting. I've got one person who it's not weekly, but it's at least monthly, is asking me to go and find more sort of Marsala, more Madeira, more of those kind of exotic style of sweet wine casks. So we've always got our eye out for those as well. So yeah, and any steer that you guys can give us on what to go look, what to go and find for you. Yeah, let us know. I am more than happy to jump in the car or, jump on a plane or a ferry and go and check out some places. If anyone can find a distillery, maybe in the Costa del Sol, maybe go have a look at that as well.
I look forward to getting that expense report. There's some cracking comments here. I'll tag a few before I remind everyone what 2021 was. Tim Queering, keen on more Japanese whiskey and hopefully a few more virtual tours. Well, great. I can answer your question on both sides. Virtual tours, Craig's got you covered. He's going to be bouncing around more and more distilleries, showing more and more of the behind the scenes. And on the Japanese whiskey side, I can tell you both the founders of the Whiskey Club, Bertie and Emily, are currently in Japan with their whiskey goggles on, looking for all things drammy. And there's a few big projects on the way. So I can't say too much on those, but we're always working on more whiskey.
Anthony's asking for Lecheg.
It's a good shout. It's a good shout.
It's a good shout.
Love a little Lechigi. We've got obviously David Kingo asking for some old Pulteney. I think I've got a bottle here that we picked up last year at the distillery.
Last year. Yeah.
I think Kingo. I mean, the biggest clue for you there is we were at the distillery, so something must be going on. For everyone who doesn't remember, Craig, I'm going to have to get up again because this bottle is in the American whiskey section, because the 2021 whiskey of the month, whiskey of the year, was the Westward rum cask.
Nice. Oh. Westward. As I said earlier, it was a huge eye opener for loads of folk here in Scotland. And what they've done with the Whiskey Club is, well, iconic. About as iconic as Miles's fantastic moustache, I have to say.
He is built for moustache photography, and that's fun. I haven't opened this tube in quite a long time, and I'm reminded of an anxiety attack. And for all the 2021 members in there, sound off if this is reminding you of something. The sliding sticker on all of these bottles. I didn't know mine slid. We must have had some hot weather. The glue's given up on me. I want to see people sounding off if you had one of these slidey stickers, because it was a stressful time in August of 2021. Those were, Craig, I wish you could have seen those days. They were horrible. But look,
sorry, just on the Westward, Andrew Cooper's asked a cracking question. He's asking us what the most unconventional location or country that we found a gem of a whiskey that surprised us. Westward's got to be up there for me. I'm just trying to think of what else that has just been a mind. The first time I had Cavalan was also very, very impressive. What those guys have managed to do, particularly with shaved toast recharge casks, was unbelievable. So I'll chuck Cavalan in there with Westward.
Cavalan was a huge surprise. I still remember trying my first SO6 for all you Cavalan nerds in the audience, and just being flummoxed at how they could get that much decadence into a bottle. But for me, I gotta say Pocono. I remember joining the Whiskey Club as a skeptical whiskey drinker, as I think a lot of whiskey drinkers are. You want to know something's good when you're trying it, and Bertie, one of the founders of the Whiskey Club, kind of came with this spirit sample and said, "We think these guys are incredible. We're giving them a whiskey of the month based on how good this spirit was." And I was like, "There's no way this spirit's going to be good enough to justify that." And I tasted it and was absolutely amazed. Caught me completely off guard. Just perfect, clean, fruity. And those American oak casks, we did the first Origin release back in 2024, 2023. Was absolutely insane. So that's my vote for biggest surprise from a region.
Very cool. Tim's mentioned a German whiskey. I think the only German whiskey I had was Blaue Maus, which was about 20 years ago. So I don't know what those guys are doing now, but it was on its way to being something quite special, I have to say. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, I've sidetracked us, Seamus. We should probably get back onto the agenda.
You're right. This always happens with you, and I am not surprised. And that's giving us our top three. So, I mean, it's been a big year of whiskey clubbing in 2025, and there's been some standout whiskies. Craig, if I simulate a drum roll by banging my chest, can you reveal what the third place in our Whiskey of the Year voting was?
I can indeed. And this year, third place went to our Dunville Cigar Malt. Absolutely stunning.
Absolutely stunning.
46.1%. It set the entire internet in Ireland on fire. Loads of people asking for more of it, and yeah, I had to go and find a bottle myself. It came with such sort of high esteem and legendary status. So yeah, well done to our pals at Dunville's. The weirdest thing I found about Dunville's, actually, just before we move on, you know how it says here Irish whiskey with an E. Back in the day, they didn't use the E; they spelt whiskey properly. So if you look at all their old advertising, it's Whisky. I found that quite cool. Weirdly, when I was chatting to Stephen about the brand history, he didn't mention that bit.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. As proud as they are about heritage, they're also quietly massive Scotch geeks. I remember meeting Jarlath at Blender and being told he's more inspired by Glendronach than any other distillery when he's making whiskey. So maybe they needed to distance themselves from Scotland just a little bit more.
I think when they mentioned, they were talking about those brands, Glendronach did come up in my discussion with them as well. But it was more a case of those are the whiskies that we like to drink, so they are our inspiration for what we want to make, but with a full-on Irish twist. So yeah, both Glendronach, Tamdhu, and Macallan all came up in the discussion about almost like shining lights for them to aim for. But again, I think the way they're using sherry is unique in global whiskey, and it definitely sets them apart from those. So it's almost like a cap doffed to those styles, but Dunville's is definitely its own brand and its own style. It's cool.
Couldn't agree more. And surprisingly, or maybe not that surprisingly, for Whiskey of the Year number 2, we're staying in Ireland, aren't we? This is the only one I don't actually have a bottle of here. So Craig,
I don't have a bottle either.
I'm just going to have to move around like crazy to keep the engagement up. Craig, what's our number 2?
Number 2, returning again to our Whiskey of the Year lists. It's no surprise. It is the Bushmills Christmas Causeway. The only surprising thing for me, Seamus, is the fact that we still have bottles of this left. So we're gonna have to order one each. But yeah, absolutely stellar sherry cask, and again, it's got that signature Bushmills fingerprint of orchard fruits, and like your apples and your pears laced in custard, and then all that dried fruit on top, and that richness and that balance. And yeah, they've done it again. It's incredible stuff. Absolutely incredible stuff.
Absolutely nailed it. And it's such an awesome whiskey to kind of conceive of with Alex, because it was a question of if you were going to have your perfect Christmas dram, what would it look like? And she came back with this cask sample and was like, oh, absolutely, no brainer. And as you say, we're lucky enough to have a handful of bottles left, and it's lunatics whose mail bounced or whose cards didn't go through, and there's this very small handful of bottles. And we thought the only fair way to give everyone a shot at getting another bottle is to chuck it up for a ballot. Everyone goes in with the same odds, so we have snuck that up over the last few days. For anyone who is watching along, feel free to hop in that. We don't have hundreds of bottles. We have some bottles, and we're eager to make sure that they get to Whiskey Club members fairly. Otherwise, I think all the staff are eyeballing about a case of it. That brings us to whiskey number 1, Craig. I mean, this is pretty exciting stuff. We're on 2 Irish sherry single malts so far. What is number one going to be? And members watching along, pop in your guesses now. We want to do a big reveal. Let's go. What have we
This
got,
one,
Craig?
this one was the runaway winner, and I love how you've teed up the Scottish guy to mention it. Absolutely runaway. I think it got almost double the number of votes as number two, maybe the same as number two and number three put together. I don't think it's any surprise for those that managed to snag a bottle. It is, of course, our Redbreast PX. It is an incredible whiskey, and yeah, I know that Dave at Middleton was. He doesn't show the most emotion, that man, but he was very, very happy to hear the results. He's just the nicest man in whiskey. It makes him incredible pot still whiskies, and yeah, I think his attention to detail and the way that he approaches everything, from the distillation makeup, from the heavy versus the medium versus the light style of pot still, the cask management, the blending, everything just fell into place for this release, and yeah, it wasn't a surprise to see this. And yeah, Irish 1, 2, and 3, clean sweep. I think that means that I've got to head across there this year and see what on earth is going on.
Members watching along are noticing your maybe gritted teeth.
No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all.
No, very, very exciting. And we did get to tell the guys live on a call with them last week, because we're always working on more whiskies, and they recorded a little something for us. So I'm going to chuck it on stage, see how my technical abilities go.
And greetings from Middleton Distillery in County Cork. I hope you're all keeping well. Recently speaking to the team at the Whisky Club, they kindly informed me of some amazing news for Redbreast, in particular for Redbreast PX, where you voted it Whisky of the Year for 2025. I think for us here in the distillery, that's the most amazing news that we've heard, and a great start to our year for 2026. It's very humbling to hear such great feedback on the whiskies that we make over on the other side of the world, as much, and where it's enjoyed as much as it is here. And I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, and from everyone here at the distillery, thank you so much for your love for our whiskies, and getting to work with the Whisky Club and doing tastings, and hopefully meeting some of you at the distillery someday. Long may that last. So I just want to say from all of us here at the distillery, thank you, and looking forward to working with you all again for 2026. Sláinte.
Incredible.
He's a good man. He's a good man, and he looks after us at the Whisky Club with some cracking drams. For anyone who missed out on it somehow, Redbreast PX is this whiskey that they've played with a little bit as cellar door kind of releases, and then with one small batch that went to the States. And they sent us that batch as this idea of like, oh, maybe we could do something like this. And we were like, this is amazing. Absolutely. But where's this going? And about halfway through the process, Dave kind of came back and came with the specs on the whiskey, and went, oh yeah, so we had a little bit of older stock, and we know the palate, we were looking for something a little richer and fatter. So for your batch, for the Whisky Club batch, we've kind of dialed everything up. So instead of it being 10 to 12 years of age, I think we're at 12 to 14 years of age. We had way longer PX finishes because the stock went into the PX cask planning a 12-year exit instead of a much later 14-year exit. And just in the glass, I mean, the colour was just richer, fatter, more decadent. It's not a surprise that this whiskey won Whisky of the Year from my point of view, Craig. It is a cracker.
It's stunning. Hopefully everyone caught there in the video that Dave, it was an open invite for members to go down and have a look around. If anyone does end up in Ireland, the team there would love to see you. It's actually a place I've not been yet either. So let's connect diaries and we'll head down and do a trip. I can't wait to get down and have a look around. There's as I said earlier, pot still whiskey is not something we really do here in Scotland. There's not many places around the world that do it. I know there's a place in Japan that plays with it, and there's Tassie as well. There's a brand out there, but It really was perfected by the guys in Ireland, and I think Redbreast is top of that tree. I know the spot whiskies are fantastic as well, but Redbreast has always held a special place in my heart. I'm seeing in the comments people are asking for the top 5. I think we can probably go as far as that, Seamus. In at number 4 was Lark. I don't know if I distilled that whiskey, but I'd like to think I did. And then number 5 was the Westward, which had that Lamington Porter finish. That's the one we've been talking about, just surprising everyone here in Scotland. It is sublime. So well done to the team at Stomping Ground, the team at Westward for putting that together, and also for getting a bottle across to me. That was a very, very, very pleasant delivery from Johnny. But top 5 incredible. Irish clean sweep. Top of the tree was a pot still whiskey. It is surprising. I'm sure that someone's going to pick up on this and write some sort of article about how the Scots no longer make the best whiskey in the world.
Well, I mean, look, the club members have spoken. We released 3 Irish whiskies in 2025, and they all placed. We saw some amazing commentary from all of the members, kind of as you gave all of your feedback, and we were lucky enough to be giving away a year's worth of whiskey to one of the commenters who chucked in, and I do get to reveal it. The entry was for the Redbreast, unsurprisingly, like many of them were, and I'll just read the entry and then I'll tell you who it was. So this was a whiskey that I had been dying to try, let alone have a bottle of. It single-handedly made me rethink Irish whiskey. I think that's true for a lot of members watching along. I can even see the members who still haven't tried it, who are maybe not sure about single pot still. Please listen to your peers. Single pot still is a very special style of whiskey. And Julia Cham, who's been a member since 2023, can tell you that. So a massive congratulations to you, Julia. The folks will be in touch for a year of free whiskey in 2026.
Superb. Well done, Julia. Well done. Yeah, these polls they're special. They're just such a great way for us to hear what everyone's been thinking and drinking over the last year. Now that that's the top 3 from our whiskey of the month. We have had 1 or 2 incredible add-ins as well, Seamus. If only we'd ask people to give us their favourite add-in of the year as well.
It's funny you mentioned that, actually, Craig. It's almost like we're looking at the same run sheet, because we actually did ask people for their favorite add-in. I mean, I'm just gonna skim back through a few of the add-ins of the year that was. We had the 35-year-old single grain from North British, which is being followed by the 40-year-old Girvan this month. Keep your eyes out for that one.
Those Girvans are ridiculous. If you're like me, born in 1985, the best year, to wake up one day for work and be told that you've got to go to a bottling line and supervise and sample 4 whiskies from your birth year, that was a pretty dream job, even though it was a very early start. Those Girvans are all incredible. 40-year-old casks. It is single grain whiskey, but over that time you just get so much complexity and richness. They are stunning. So
absolutely.
Yeah, if you're from that vintage like me, definitely one to have a look out for.
Absolutely. We got the good folks down in Hobart at Launceston doing the Launceston Peter double cast. That was a high ABV, a Para bourbon, rich, fatty, showing why Tasmanian distilleries is so good with peated whiskey. We had Redbreast 18, another Redbreast call out. Not surprising. I mean, at that age statement with the Ruby Port casks, just a special whiskey. Had some Dalmore Luminary closing out the Luminary series with Luminary 3. An amazing kind of mad combination of casks again. Those really old Graham's 20 port casks. Absolutely awesome. We did something weird with the Shivers Crystal. You were so unimpressed with me when I told you about that.
I was not expecting it to go as well as it did, but I think that again, I should learn. I shouldn't be such an old grumpy Scotsman. But the one thing that I should have known about our members is we like to experiment. We like to try new things. So when Shivers came out with this whiskey, they'd stripped all the colour from. In fact, can't even call it whiskey. this spirit drink that they stripped all the colour from. I wasn't expecting it to go, but there's something quite cool about having that bottle on your shelf. So well done to the members for again putting a bit of egg on my face. Yeah, we the other one that I think is worth calling out. We did see a Macallan this year as well.
Yeah.
We managed to get the last few bottles of A Night on Earth out to members. That was quite a nice little thing to see one of the whiskies I worked on when I was at that distillery on that whiskey making team make its way out to our members. So that was quite cool.
Not the only presence of Macallan either. There was the Old Perth, which was half Macallan, half Highland Park at 20 years old. Very, very special add-in as well. Real monster. That was in November. And I think a smaller cask out run, so it was probably never going to win Whiskey of the Year, add-in of the year, sorry. But wow, a very, very special whiskey as well.
Our peat heads as well. We got some Kilcoman out there.
Oh yeah, Kilhoman and the Kanasuke peated and the what was it? The Inchdani. Incredible whiskey.
That was the packaging of that was very cool as well. Quite a modern distillery, quite a modern take on peated whiskey. But I was very, very pleasantly surprised with what those guys are putting out. That's one that again is on my list for going to visit because Ian and the team there are just quietly, experimenting away. So there's definitely more to come from that distillery. We should keep our eye out on what we can get from those guys.
It's funny that we're talking about peated whiskey because right now Craig and I are actually running late for a meeting with the peated distillery.
I'm just about to message them.
Yes, we should let them know that we're running a touch late because we're hanging out with all of our members. But the add-in of the year, I think it's a good time to do a gram reveal. And my bottle's in the other room. It's going to take me too long to get to, but it's a very good local. It's actually not a very good local. They got beaten at the last minute. I'll do second place then because I've already warmed up for it. Second place, but very close to first, was our good friends at Overeem Distillery with their very old port cask release. An absolute peach of a whiskey, really taking that classic Overeem DNA, those big old port casks that, were the first cask filled in the first early era of Overeem and just bringing them to real focus, taking the oldest casks in the bonds. They were over 50 years of age and just showing that big, sticky, rich version of Overeem that was just absolutely delicious and members fell in love with, but not as many as Craig. Do you want to give us the number one? I've done it to you again, haven't I?
It's not only was it a clean sweep for Irish, it's a clean sweep this year for Redbreast. They're 18-year-old. And no surprise, far and away the most popular of our add-ins this year. So again, well done to Dave and the team for taking both of the awards this year. Keep doing what you're doing. The Redbreast whiskies are phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. Again, to see the lineup, the whiskies of the month 2025 gave us a really good bar for 2026. The add-ins we're always going to be searching for those weird and wonderful little pockets of stock. Again, we kind of know what's coming up, Seamus, but there's one or two this year that I think are really going to set the heather on fire, as we say across here. I think the other thing there is that Tasmanian whiskey, Lark and Overeem being so high up on both those lists. It's a huge testament to what's been going on since 1992 down in Tas, a place that I was very lucky to call home, not just Tasmania, but Lark Distillery. So to see how Lark and Overeem are put together, again, no surprise that they're so high up on these lists. It's incredible whiskey on a global stage, and we're just very, very lucky to get access to it and share it with our members.
Absolutely. You've nailed it, and it's amazing. All I could focus on with what you were saying there was the fact that you said heather and Tasmanian whiskey in the same sentence, because that's just a little bit of a teaser what's coming up for 2026, isn't it? For anyone who knows their whiskey makers down here. I mean, look, 2026 broadly is going to be a heck of a year. We've got maybe the most legendary Isla distillery coming up. We've got some absolute beasts I'm trying to think where to start. Which of the incredible things? I mean, Tam Doo's obviously the next biggie. But after that, I mean, we've got maybe a revisit to Ireland sooner rather than later. The return of a 2024 absolute club favorite, one of the runners up for Whiskey of the Year that year, is bringing the heat with just a absolutely insane whiskey that I cannot give away. And we're also seeing a lot more new distilleries as well. Some real there's some real geek favorites that'll be appearing at the club. So please do sound off in the comments on your guesses there. We're not going to give you anything for guessing right. We're not even going to tell you that you guessed it right, but please do, because at the very least it'll get a smile out of Craig and I to see some of the distilleries you pick. And well, I mean, if we're closing 2026 out as well, the Christmas whiskey for this year coming is an absolute monster, isn't it, Craig?
Yeah. And we've got a long way to go before we get to there, though. You're already talking about Santa coming again, and we've got loads of things in the offing. Starting with Tamdhu next month. It's crazy. It's crazy. And then I'm actually very excited by one of the add-ins for April. I was doing some filming last week at a blending lab here in Glasgow. And let's just say, I think that our members are going to be absolutely blown away with the twists on some of the best whiskies in the world, and then the surprise packages, the ones that maybe haven't heard of before, that we've selected because of the quality of the liquid. And hopefully, we can build those brands up over the years and get the love flowing for some of the smaller and let's just say underground distilleries, and maybe the Scots can get their act together and produce something that is worthy of Whiskey of the Year.
It's a valid challenge. I think we need it. I think if you look at the last 5 years, it's a lot of Irish and American. So Scots, take the challenge up, follow Glendronach's lead, win Whiskey of the Year. That's our goal for 2026. Now, the only last note from me, and it's just because I've seen a few members comment it in the comments below. For anyone who is traveling, Tassie, Scotland, wherever, and you want a little bit of whiskey tourism, maybe someone to give you a bit of a roadmap, please do DM us. Please do message the team. We are so up for helping out with that, whether it be me or Craig or anyone in the team. You're surrounded by whiskey geeks here, and we are very up for helping you out. On that note, I get to say a massive cheers from Craig and I. I'm sorry you don't have a dram on you, Craig, but it's all right. I've got two. So
fantastic.
From all of us here, a massive cheers for an incredible 2025, and we look forward to an amazing 2026.
Yeah, Sanjivar, everyone, and we'll see some of you over here later this year. Seamus, pleasure, mate. Well done to Redbreast. Well done to all of our Irish distilling friends, and I can see why people get so excited by this. This was fun. All right.
Always a delight, Craig.
See you later. Bye.